Earlier this week, Charlie Sheen came out with a pretty shocking revelation indicating that he tested positive for HIV. Now, his HIV is under control. However, there are a number of his former stars that might be a little concerned about the fact that he didn't disclose that he had HIV. One of those stars is Jenny McCarthy, who occasionally appeared on 2.5 Men. Now, she took to her own satellite radio show to talk about this. Let's hear what she has to say.
But the thing that I think also in the acting world is quite fascinating, before we do a job, we have to sign a piece of paper that says, do you have cold sores? You know, you have to sign a release that says, yes, I have cold sores, and you have to show the medication. So for years, as I sit here with one on my face, for years, I've signed this piece of paper. Now, being on 2.5 Men myself and being on the show, I feel like, and playing a love interest, you would think that there would be some type of, I don't want to say, not criminal issue, but I don't even know how to feel about that. I'm like, well, wait a second. If I have to be upfront about a herpes, right, how could you not be upfront about HIV? But you know what I mean? Like, I look back and I'm like, okay, that would have been some valuable information. Look how many people have played his love interest on the show. I mean, not that you can obviously get it through kissing, but still, that's a big deal. Every person I've ever slept with, and this is honestly, I'm sorry, not Donnie, but I have like paperwork. I made everyone get an HIV test, and you know, because I'm STD phobic, right, just because of all the stuff I went through with Evan's health. I said to myself, there is nothing I want to do that will be dumb enough to get any type of disease. I have to live forever for my kid. So I wouldn't sleep with anybody until I got, you know, the right paperwork. So the fact that, you know, playing even his love interest on the show back in the day, I go like, that's not fair and scary.
Okay, so to be fair to her, she's STD phobic, unlike the rest of the world, where we're like obsessed with STDs and we can't get enough of them.
Yeah, we're like, oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Look, I don't want to be too hard on her, but I'm going to be too hard on her. So,
okay.
Here's the thing. Okay, so his manager has come forward and he's like, look, he didn't know about the HIV, or he didn't get the diagnosis until way after the 2.5 Men situation. Okay, so calm down. But also on top of that, look, the reason why you're required to disclose that you have oral herpes is because if you are playing a love interest and you are kissing, you can spread herpes, oral herpes specifically, very easily through kissing, which is probably why they have you disclose that. Something like HIV, you cannot, you know, spread that through casual contact, through kissing, as she mentioned in that you know, soundbite. That's probably why he didn't have to disclose it by law in that way. You're not having sex with him on the show because you're playing his romantic love interest. At least I hope that's not how it works with actors and actresses. So there's that.
Yeah, I got mixed feelings about it. I'm going to defend her partly. First of all, though, I think she shouldn't be that worried about it, because if she's got something, just take a vaccine, and you'll be all right. Oh, no. Okay, all right. Now, before I defend her, let me do one more dig at her. Yeah, having sex with Jenny McCarthy sounds so hot. Papers! Like, you got to go to the hospital, you got to get paperwork, and like 3.5 weeks later, be like, okay, now let's rip each other's clothes off, right? Like, now.
Look, I kind of get where she's coming from, but this whole thing about making sure someone, like your new partner, gets tested right before you have sex, I mean, that's way easier said than done. It's not realistic. People don't really do that. That's not to say that you shouldn't be safe and use condoms until that person does get around to taking, you know, an STD test. But It's much more complicated than that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're Jenny McCarthy and people are lined up at the door, then you could be more selective and say, you know, I'll, you know, file your application in a couple of weeks and see how it turns out. But most people are safe, I hope, by using a condom first. And then, yes, it makes sense. Go, you know, make sure everybody's clean. I'm totally down with that. But like in the moment of attraction and heat, I think it's a little unrealistic to ask for papers, right? I feel a little like Sheriff Joe Arpaio in that case, right? So let's get the papers later. Let's be safe first. Okay. Yeah. Now, finally, my defense of her. No, I mean, look, maybe I'm the bad guy, but I would want to know if I'm somebody that I was going to kiss had HIV. Okay, so maybe I'm a little ignorant here, but I'd want to Google it first. Okay, and I'd want to have that option, right? And I wouldn't want to have that that information not shared with me. I think a lot of people would agree with me and her on that.
Yeah.
Even if they don't characterize in the same way. I don't like that she said, ugh. And I know, but now we're splitting. Well, maybe we're not splitting hairs. Maybe that's a really unfortunate way to talk about someone who's got HIV. But I don't think her concern is unwarranted. Now, did Charlie Sheen really know only after he left 2.5 Men? Well, he left 2.5 Men in 2011, and he says he found out about the HIV in 2011. So the timing's pretty close. It could be that he found out afterwards. But if I was Jenny McCarthy, I'd be a little concerned about that timing.
Yeah. Look, I think something like HIV is obviously a very personal and stigmatized thing to have to deal with, right? So I think that it's important to disclose your STD if you're putting other people at risk, okay? I think that it should be legally, it should be an obligation legally to tell people if you have an STD and you can spread it to them. You're putting them at risk.